Hello, I'm Roger. This is the MSC Mission Office, and this is Mission Alive, where we truly believe that the mission of Jesus Christ and the mission that Jesus has given us is truly alive today in our world. I talked yesterday a bit about the feast of St. Peter and Paul and the work of Peter and Paul as two great missionary apostles. I want to talk a little bit about some of our own MSC missionary bishops. Some years ago in Papua New Guinea, I realised that it was coming up to the 100 years since the dioceses were erected in Papua New Guinea and Solomon Islands. So at 1966, in October, all the dioceses moved from being vicariates to becoming dioceses. So in about 2013-14, I started alerting people and pushing the cause a little bit, and in 2016 we had a number of major celebrations of that. It's a significant step for church to be moved from a mission vicariate to a diocese. So in that I did some research, and more recently I looked back on that research and I found out a few other things. One, that a bishop that I've mentioned here before, Bishop Vestas, this one here, was the second bishop in Rabaul, the second vicar. And then I looked up, for some reason, the Celebes in Indonesia, or Sulawesi, and I found that Vestas was the prefect apostolic in Celebes. And I wondered how the jurisdiction from Rabaul extended to the Celebes. But researching a bit more, I found that Gerard Vestas was a Dutchman from the Netherlands, and our Netherlands province, were missionaries in that area of Indonesia. And he was there and became the prefect apostolic, and from there he was made the bishop or the vicar in Rabaul. So it solved a little historical puzzle for me. Now it was interesting too that his successor, Schumacher, Vestas, was the principal ordaining bishop for Schumacher. So he ordained bishop his successor. And as I've mentioned before, we have the cross that both of those bishops used. And Bishop Vestas is buried here out of Sydney at our place at Douglas Park. And this monastery here on the hill was built for visiting, partly for visiting missionaries, as it was out in the middle of the sand dunes and it was dry and you get a cool breeze, and it was good for our men who were coming down suffering from malaria. So some interesting facts of history. Another one I found when I was in Papua New Guinea, I heard a story that Henry Verius was to be made the Bishop of Rabaul, or the Apostolic Vicar of Rabaul. And the people around Yule Island in that area objected so strongly because he was such a popular man and so well liked, so well loved, that they objected. And so they changed the decision, and Louis Coupé was made the vicar there. And I came across the facts of that recently, if I may refer here, in 1889, in May, Louis Coupé was made Vicar Apostolic of New Guinea. And then in the December of that year, Louis Coupé was appointed to that position, and Louis Coupé was very, I've got it mixed up here now. Anyway, in May that year, it was changed, and Henry Verius was made the coadjutor bishop of the Yule Island area, and on the same day, Louis Coupé was made the Vicar Apostolic of Rabaul. So there's funny little quirks of history which are interesting to know in terms of mission. The church goes through these processes processes of trying to select the right person, the right man, to be the bishop of a certain place. And they take into account their background. So with Bishop Vestas, he had experience already with the Melanesian people of Sulawesi, and so he was moved then over to Rabaul, which is a long way, very different people, but still basically Melanesian people. And Henry Varius, having proved himself in that area, was held there and promoted to the coadjutor bishop, to the bishop there. So we have these little facts of history. Just means the church has always been alive and active and moving forward, and it is still so today. And church is still selecting people to be bishop and making them bishops, and they get on with their jobs in many different places. So the mission is alive today, even though in our human history we have a lot of quirks and a lot of difficulties, but the mission still goes ahead despite our very basic humanity. Thank you for being with us, and have a good day on mission.